been some time since I've been in this room, and it really is one of the most special rooms in the halls of justice. And it really is a unique experience to be able to be a part of the team that is delivering a singular system of justice for the American people with a complete and total annihilation of the weaponization of justice and the politicization of intelligence. We have a new FBI, and I'm humbled and honored to be its leader. We have a courageous Attorney General in General Pam Bondi. We have incredible leaders throughout our law enforcement community, whether it be at the FBI, the DEA, HSI, CBP, ATF, and the list goes on. I've been privileged to meet so many of them in my first month on board here. I look around and I see state attorneys generals that have been doing the work hand in glove with local, state, and federal law enforcement. And our mission, and my mission specifically, is to tell you what we've been doing in this first month. And I told you when I got this job that we would crush violent crime, that we would take the fight to anyone who wishes to do harm to our way of life and to hurt our citizenry, that we would go to the ends of the earth to bring them back to face American justice produced right here in this very hall, in this very building. To that effort, we have done just that. And a special shout out, I know my Boston contingent is here on St. Paddy's Day. Thank you for the great work you guys have been doing and across the rest of the FBI. But right here in Virginia, or across the river in Virginia, the FBI stood up an interagency task force at our Manassas office, and in just 2.5 short weeks, we have arrested over 300 violent felonies gang members, including MS-13 and 18 gangsters. We have taken seizure of hundreds of pounds of narcotics and hundreds of weapons and currency and illicit goods. That's just what you can do when you put the brave men and women of law enforcement in one room and get the hell out of their way. And we are going to do that in every state across this country. In Massachusetts alone, in the last couple of weeks, they have indicted federally over 50 violent gang members and narco traffickers, seizing almost 200 kilograms of fentanyl. There is no time for us to waste on this job, and that's why under President Trump's leadership and General Bondi's leadership, we've been instructed to get after it, and that's exactly what we are doing. We have to especially get after it when we lose an American citizen every 7 minutes to a drug overdose. We have to especially get after it when a woman or child is raped in this country nearly every 6 minutes. And we have to especially get after it when there are 2 homicides nearly every hour in this country. Violent crime is exploding, and it is a direct result of the border invasion that occurred. But thanks to this administration and thanks to your relentless work on the field of battle to protect our citizenry, we are finally curbing those astronomical numbers. And what that means is we are saving American lives. We are providing our children with safe schools and playgrounds so that they can be educated and grow up in a fun neighborhood like we all had the privilege of doing in this great community and in this great country. So when you go out there and you see your communities working with this interagency task force, and you see our brave men and women of law enforcement, it is a team effort. This is not a one-stop, one-man, one group, one agency operation. It happens at every single level. Just yesterday, I was honored to meet with hundreds of law enforcement officers from around the country, and I was even more humbled to graduate 245 police officers from the FBI National Academy, representing 48 states and 24 countries. That is how you put the mission first. You bring these brave warriors who have already dedicated their lives to safeguard our communities. You bring them together to do it again and again and again. And the thing that inspires me most is that they have a relentless desire to make sure that they wake up and end the day in a community that is safer to you all. And I just wanted to talk to you here for a few minutes about that great work. Just last night, 7 narco-trafficking thugs from Colombia were extradited and returned to American soil to face American justice. Just the other week, 29 Mexican narco-traffickers from Mexico were repatriated here to America to face American justice. Just in that group alone, you are talking about over 5,000 kilograms of narcotics that would have poured into our country. And you'll see the type of damage that just a little bit of fentanyl can do to our children. And we're talking about thousands and thousands of kilos. Yes, that is a national security crisis. But the good news is the men and women of law enforcement, in conjunction with the brave warriors that we have in Congress, who have the courage to stand up and fight for their representatives and fight for their constituencies, are leading the funding and legislation we need to make sure we get this mission done. This is not going to be a short-lived process. Certainly at the FBI, it is something we wake up to every single day and go to bed at every single night. And the thought is singular. What is the best way we can safeguard our citizenry? What are we doing worse? What are we doing better? And what's in between? And when we have those answers for you, you see them delivered in the halls of justice in the courts across this country. And that's the great work that is the tip of the spear. But there is so much work behind it from state and local authorities. We are getting after it, not just where the media normally covers. And I want to highlight the following. The violent crime that plagues our country is also plaguing those on tribal lands. And we are not going to treat them any differently. They all live in the same America that we live in. And they face the same crises that we face. So we will work with our state and local partners on all matters that are affecting tribal lands and Indian reservations to make sure their children are no longer trafficked, to make sure their women are no longer raped and go missing. This mission must be 24/7, 365 from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. But beyond that, we must go extraterritorially, like I've just told you about. We must go down to the furthest reaches of the planet to make sure that we bring you the justice that you have voted for in this new administration. And we will, and this is my promise to you as the director of the FBI for as long as I'm in this seat, we will never, ever stop fighting violent crime. That is the priority of the FBI along with national security, and we will put every resource and every manning that we have on that mission. And lastly, through this great work, you will see tremendous oversight and reforms at our FBI, which will unfold with our partners in Congress over the coming weeks and months and years ahead. But I want you to pay attention also to what's going on in the halls of Congress, because they are providing us with the resources we need to combat the fentanyl crisis. And this administration is providing us with the tools we need by designating the cartels foreign terrorist organizations, because that's exactly how they should be treated, because that's exactly who they are. And in that pursuit, I look forward to playing a very small part. The FBI will play a very large part, and our interagency partners and our local and state law enforcement officers will start putting more and more and more handcuffs on the bad guys, and good cops across this country will be unleashed to be good cops on a daily basis. And the lasting promise that I will leave you with, and this is a message to the law enforcement community, you have always had the backs of the American people, so the Federal Bureau of Investigation and me as its director will have your backs. Thank you.